Hi, I'm Shari Berkowitz of the Vertical Workshop, and I want to talk to you today about Chapter 4. So in Chapter 4, Joseph Pilates is talking about the destruction of humanity by that we're going down a slippery slope, and we're not just like walking it, we are sliding desperately into a nightmare. He may or may not be correct. We all may have our opinions on this. In his statement here, he says that people have lost the connection of mind and body. And you know what? I'm walking around in New York City where he likely finished his writing of this in the 1930s. And maybe this is a different kind of city than other cities because there are so many people who do walk around, but maybe they do and are physical, but maybe they are more mindless than he was hoping that people could be, and also less physical than he was hoping people could be. With that, he makes some interesting thoughts for the time. He uses a phrase that's really archaic, and he considers the civilized person and the savage, which is really distasteful to me. But I think what we can take from this in a modern sense is that we can look at people who are physical versus people who are intellectual only. And you know what? That's not even satisfying to me. But from the whole thing, I think what we could take is that it's important to consider, are we combining our efforts into building our bodies and our minds? Are we staying so close to what society tells us, even when society isn't right? And his statement is really rebellious, and I consider with that that we ourselves in the Pilates community might think of ourselves as rebellious, yet at the same time, our Pilates community or other health communities often prescribe things that don't have much validity to them and could use more evidential understanding supported by evidence. He was talking a lot about, at the early part of this chapter, about wishing that his work would be discovered and considered in a research manner to prove that his work is so effective. That hasn't happened on the grand scale that he was hoping for, but it has happened in some ways that we both basically find out not only that Pilates, but exercise in general is so important. So in his desire for all people to really consider themselves in a mind-body way, or a balance of body and mind, it seems to be something that in modern life we really are striving for. At least some of us are. Now, can the majority of people do that? I don't know that the majority of people ever have done that. His frustration in humanity is so understandable, of like, why won't people take responsibility of themselves or for themselves? But I don't think that people really do take responsibility for themselves. Maybe in our community, and that's different. And the people who come to us to take Pilates or do other helpful things, but most people don't. And is that a question of industrialization, as Mr. Pilates ponders? And it might be that when you don't have the need for the survival aspect of existence to be able to, or to have to, take care of yourself, then maybe one doesn't. And I don't know that that's such a mortal sin or such a terrible thing. I think that that's just existence, that when you don't have to do something, you don't. Now, again, you and I might be different, but that's not necessarily efficient. And nature is about efficiency. And so we'll naturally do things that are more efficient rather than less efficient. That's also survival. So I don't think that it is actually an appropriate expectation to think that people could take care of themselves. If they could really take care of themselves in the way that we wish they would, they would. I mean, it's as simple as people know that they know that smoking is bad for them, but they'll do it anyway. Or they end up with a heart disease and still do all the things that that could add to that. So with that, it's not that those people are bad people, and they may be you and they may be me. It's that that's just humanity. So I support Joseph Pilates in his grand desire for all people to take care of themselves. But you can hear in his writing, you read it, that he's so frustrated with humanity. But I think that that's just a general part of humanity. With that, I do believe that we can help those who are interested in striving to have balanced body and mind, and that we can continue to work on that ourselves. So read over chapter 4 and see what you think. Be patient with Mr. Pilates' archaic words and thoughts. I don't think that we have to completely bash him for the way that he thought at the time. We can take from it what we want, and if we were able to sit down with him and have a conversation about certain aspects of the way he writes in any of his work, we could do that. But I think we could take away some interesting things.